What's up, guys? So this is just a little equipment test here. I'm out on the road. Oh gosh, the HDMI cord is right there in the frame. We're not white balance either. This is definitely not my highest quality work at the moment. I'm out on the road, doing the job, making the money, all that good stuff, and I forgot to bring along some of my equipment for work, but I did bring along my own personal capture card here. So I'm just using it because tomorrow we have to do a StreamYard for the old job, and so I'm making sure that my capture card is going to be compatible with my work camera. So hopefully this audio is coming through nice and clear. Hopefully this looks good. I tell you, we're not white balanced at all. My goodness, what am I doing? And I'm a videographer. Like, this is my job, but I was so just like worried about getting everything else right that I didn't even like mess with the white balance here. We're kind of like, oh, not that way, that way. There you go, 3200. There we go. Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, I'm only gonna be on for probably 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes or so. Just want to make sure that everything's gonna work here. So this isn't by any means a real official episode of the ADP Average Dudes podcast, but we're just gonna talk real quick for a little bit here while I make sure this is gonna work for me for work. And I figured what better to talk about at the moment than just coaching situations, right? You've got the Ben Johnson sticking around in Detroit. He's not going to be going to either Seattle or Washington. Mike Macdonald, the Ravens defensive coordinator, he's going to go to Seattle. Washington's still open. So that's kind of interesting to see that they're having such an issue hiring a coach after their kind of unorthodox strategy here of bringing in Bob Myers from the Golden State Warriors to head up that committee. If by any chance somebody does see this and can tell me how the audio sounds, I would appreciate that, but I will check it here in just a little bit anyway. I figured we just kind of go through a couple of new head coaches, a couple of new hires and whatnot, and kind of, any ideas on what that could mean for a team. So Bobby Slowick staying in Houston also, by the way, him and Ben Johnson really kind of the two fantasy darling coordinators that I think a lot of us would have really liked to have seen get a job somewhere else. They will both be sticking around. So let's talk a little bit about Mike Macdonald. So he, Ravens defensive coordinator. He was also a defensive coach on the Michigan staff with Jim Harbaugh. And, I think blanket statement-wise, when a defensive coordinator, when a defensive-minded head coach gets hired to be a head coach, expect kind of a conservative offense. It's not going to be this big, high-flying, high-scoring offense. But coordinator's going to be important. We'll see. Will he snag anybody off of that Ravens staff? Who knows? Him and Greg Roman worked together last year. So maybe that's a potential move there. They've definitely got a nice young base and some draft capital to work with out there in Seattle. So I think Macdonald, he's in a good spot for NFL. I just don't really know what to make of that for fantasy purposes. But I like the hire by Seattle. As a Baltimore Ravens fan myself, I'm pretty bummed out about it. This is a guy I was really hoping would stick around with the Ravens for a couple more years, right? But, great coaches get plucked and moved on, so that's kind of how that one's going to go. The big, most interesting one probably is the I'm blanking on now at the moment. Oh my goodness. The Chargers. Jim Harbaugh, right? That's the big one. That's one that I'm not excited about for fantasy purposes. I think for redraft, you're going to see me down on a lot of Chargers. And I've never been down on Keenan Allen his entire career, Justin Herbert through his entire career. I think for dynasty purposes, Justin Herbert would be a really good player to sell off right about now. I think he's a guy that you can still get a lot for. But, right now, I don't love the Jim Harbaugh hire for Herbert because I think pass volume is going to come down. I think that he's going to really focus on rebuilding the defense. If you look at his time in San Francisco, I really should put a light over here. Like, the whole point of this was production stuff, right? Like, I'm working with my TV. Most of my equipment is downstairs, right? So, like, my camera's not even on a tripod right now. It's on the TV stand because I'm at a conference and a lot of my equipment is down in the media room. And that got locked up. So I'm kind of working with skeleton crew stuff here. I just realized, this doesn't look great. As long as it's coming through, though, that's what matters here. Because really the things I'm testing here are internet connection and camera compatibility. Camera compatibility, I think we look pretty good. Internet, we'll see, to be determined, but I think it looks okay. Sorry, I just got myself way off track there. Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers. So Jim, in his 3 of 4 drafts as the head coach of the 49ers, and we know that he had a lot of sway with the 49ers, in 3 of those 4, he went defense in round 1. I fully expect the same to happen with the Chargers. I think that Jim Harbaugh really likes to build a team with defense and a run game. And I think that, Herbert's awesome. Herbert's a great quarterback. I think, I love Justin Herbert. But volume is just going to really get pushed down on him. And I think that could really hurt his overall numbers. And that could be a real issue for a guy who I think volume's really been in the favor of Justin Herbert for the last several years, right? That's definitely been a thing that's kind of, been able to mold his career so far. Is even in the years where the touchdown rate hasn't been there, the passing volume has been there, right? He's had a ton of attempts. So that's been really good for him, but I'm afraid that's going to go away. Also, Austin Eckler out the door. So there goes any sort of semblance of cheap pass catching production out of the running back position for him, from the quarterback standpoint, right? Because he can definitely get a lot of production out of just dumping off to running backs and getting kind of efficient production there. That goes away. Now, what does that production turn into? Is it just those receptions now turn to rush attempts for running backs? I kind of think so. In which case, that's definitely going to hurt Justin Herbert quite a bit. I'm actually doing a video here very soon about some dynasty sells, right? So sneak preview here. It's going to be Justin Herbert, and I'm going to go a little bit deeper in on those Jim Harbaugh stats. Garrett Wilson is the other one who I really want to highlight. And then also CJ Stroud. Not to say that these aren't great players I love. They are. It's sell high, right? You can get a lot for these guys right now. And so I think that that's something to really take advantage of and really kind of go out. So that's going to be a video we're going to make here in the coming days. I might actually record that tonight because I think I've got the script fully written for those. So we'll see if I record it with kind of this hotel room backdrop. I don't know. There's some fun. I don't know what it is. It's like a roller coaster or something back here. I'm in Orlando for work here tonight. So, I don't think it's Disney World, but it could be. I don't think I'm that close to Disney World. But, there'll be something coming down the pipes here real soon on that. Are there any other coach hirings since we've last talked? I haven't really gone too deep in on the newsy side of things. Arthur Smith with Pittsburgh, I'm happy about it because it means that he doesn't wreck anybody else, right? I think it's going to be really frustrating for the Steelers, right? Because it's been frustrating for Atlanta. I do think that there could be some goodness there for Najee and for Jaylen Warren both. And I know that, the immediate thought with the Falcons is, it's frustrating splits. And it has been, especially last year with Bijan. But the Falcons have been really good at running the ball in Arthur Smith's tenure. And before that, he was in Tennessee, and we know they were great at running the ball with Derrick Henry. Part of me actually is a little bit interested in both Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris even because the Arthur Smith hire there. I think that there's actually could be a bit of a buy low there because I think that a lot of people just associate Arthur Smith with bad, right? And I do too. I think we all do in this space. But I think that there could be one little pocket there to potentially grab something from here with the running back potential. What else hirings have happened recently? Tennessee, they hired Brian Callahan from the Bengals, offensive coordinator. He will be calling plays. I have no idea what that means from a fantasy standpoint, to be quite honest with you, because he didn't call plays in Cincinnati. I'll look more into him as this kind of summer rolls on and we get more ideas on that. But the thing that I'm excited about there is, a pass-first offense, right? A new age offense. I think it could be great for Treylon Burks. I think maybe it breathes some life or potential into Will Levis, potentially. I don't love it, but I still think there's a chance there at least. But Treylon Burks, I think he's definitely a guy to keep an eye on Tennessee. I do expect him to add to that receiver room and with some Bengals connections. I think T. Higgins is the big one to think of, right? But Tyler Boyd is definitely a guy who I could definitely see them. If I was the coach of the Bengals, I think Tyler Boyd's a great guy to have come in with me to a new team as kind of a advocate, if you will, for my offense that I run. Have there been any other head coach or coordinator hirings here in the last couple days? I think I talked about Carolina hiring the Bucs OC. I know I talked about that one on the Views from the 573 podcast I did. Go check that out over on Ryan McDaniel's channel, the podcast from the 573 on YouTube here. You can find that on all the podcasting platforms, the Views from the 573. And me and Ryan went into a lot of these at that point. I know on that one also we talked about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their hiring of Raheem Morris as head coach after being defense coordinator of the Rams. So I'll drop that in the comments down below, the link to that, so you guys can take a listen to that in its entirety. I think I got what I needed here, though. I've got dinner plans. I got to be down to the hotel lobby here in about 15 minutes or so. Thanks for joining me for this one, guys. This was just kind of a test for the equipment. Got to make sure that, we can pay the bills here tomorrow. So hopefully that stream will go good tomorrow. That's not ADP. That's not football related at all. That's the one that pays the bills. So we will see you guys next time. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and probably record tonight, maybe tomorrow, on the Dynasty Sell High video featuring Garrett Wilson, Justin Herbert, and CJ Stroud. So go ahead and put down in those comments for me. What would you guys be willing to sell those players for? And what would you be offering to acquire those players? Put that down in this one, and maybe I will mention that in the next episode.